Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine. I vlog daily to keep you updated on the real-life situation in my country during this awful war with Russia. Please feel free to ask your questions and to inspire my future vlogs in comments. Today I want to speak about one of the greatest crimes that Russia commits against Ukrainian and global society, and that is stealing Ukrainian children. I'm 100% convinced this is an example of genocide, and let me give you my arguments. I have thought about this topic for my video for a pretty long period of time, but today's article that I found in one of the prominent Ukrainian medias inspired me to do a small research. So here are the awful facts about Russia, children and war in Ukraine. First of all, according to general statistics that we have, and it is open, for example, on a webpage, Children of War and others, is that 431 child died in the result of this war caused by the actions of war. Of course, the numbers are smaller than it is in reality. These are officially confirmed deaths of Ukrainian children. So 431 child died because of Russian orcs in Ukraine. 835 wounded. 296 are missing. And officially, according to all the papers confirmed, 11,225 children were deported to Russia. But it is striking how different the unofficial numbers are. The ones that we can check according to Russian sources, Russian Federation sources, sometimes they claim that they have stolen 705,000 Ukrainian children. Close to 1 million Ukrainian children who were forced to leave their own country, lose their cultural identity, connections with their family, and move to the enemy country. Today, this article discussed a very new advertisement campaign on Russian TV that is no more hidden but just open and official. And this is a campaign about the adoption of Ukrainian children. And there they claim that 150,000 Ukrainian children were deported from Donbas region only in 2022. Of course, using traditional Russian fakes, they demonstrate that Russia is a happy and beautiful country for these children to live, and that the only reason why they were deported, they were actually evacuated that way to have normal childhood while Ukrainians are bombing Ukraine. Of course, it is everything false and fake, and also it is a very big tragedy because hundreds and thousands of Ukrainian children were deported to Russia, were stolen, and forced adoption is among the crimes that are considered a genocide because it comes close to the idea of ethnical cleansing, and we all know that such crimes cannot be forgiven and cannot be forgotten. This equates Putin's regime to Hitler's regime and other fascist, Nazist and other awful totalitarian regimes that led to the death or erase particular nations. Ukraine is in great danger, and we all know for European countries population is a problem. It is also a problem for Ukraine. It is also a problem for Russia. And the fact that they steal Ukrainian children, tear their connection with their own culture and their families, this is a true tragedy. I know that there are lots of officials in Ukraine and abroad who work on the strategies on how to return these deported children, how to find them, but I think it is going to be very, very difficult. Forced adoption is a crime. Forced adoption never takes in mind the feelings of that child and not tries to connect it to the family. Because it may be that the parents, the relatives of that child are safe and alive and looking for this child. There are lots of web pages, TV programs, and other sources online and TV that are looking for Ukrainians and Ukrainian children, and there are hundreds and thousands of them missing. Imagine the tragedy of a family who cannot find their child, dead or alive, deported in Russia. How many versions exist in the head of family members, and it adds up to the general tragedy. I don't know, electricity blackouts, broken infrastructure, cold, and all of that. So Russia has to be treated as a terrorist state. Russia has to be treated as a fascist, Nazist, fascist regime because they steal Ukrainian children. It also reminds me of the Mongolian origin. I don't have anything against Mongolia, which is a beautiful country, but I mean that historical golden hordes. They were taking children as Yasir, as far as I remember. They were stealing children of the nations. They were running back and forth, stealing and killing, and they were trying to bring that children up in the traditions of the horde. It is something that Russia repeats today. Actually, the childhood and the youth of so many people was awfully interrupted by this war. There are lots of influential, very emotional, heartbreaking reportages about children who drove cars when, for example, Kyiv, Irpin, Bucha were occupied. They could not connect with their parents and they took cars. They saw how their dad drove the car and it was their first time, for example, driving a car, being shot, trying to escape, and they managed to survive. There are stories about such children who were wounded but still managed to evacuate their brothers, sisters, neighbors, those who did not own a car or didn't know how to drive. For the first time, children were brave enough to do that. Also, there are lots of children who were killed, and they were killed not accidentally. They were shot by Russian soldiers who saw them, who realized these are just children. And such tragedies and photos of these beautiful kids are all over Ukrainian internet and globally. And there are other stories of children separated with their parents who were military, who were captured, who were on the occupied territories and now may be deported and live in a totally alien and hostile Russian family. So this is a really serious tragedy that must be spoken about all over the world. And please don't have doubts in your support of Ukraine and understanding that Russia is a terrorist state. To end it on a more positive note, I know that many of you liked my video about raccoon that was captured by Russian orcs and one day will kill that Russian soldiers and return back to Ukraine. There is also a petition, it seems to me, in Odessa, and Odessa is a beautiful city on the Black Sea in Ukraine and it's known for its humor. So they have created a petition where they want to exchange Ukrainian raccoon on the monument of Russian Empress Catherine II. That monument was recently destroyed in Odessa, but like kept in a historical museum or something. So now they are ready to exchange the Queen of Russia, Tsaritsa, to the Ukrainian raccoon. Thank you so much for your support. In my every video, I thank you for the coffees and the fact that you become my patrons, not because I'm asking for money, because money is not the priority here. I like sharing information and telling you more about Ukraine, inspiring your support. It is just that so many beautiful people support me and help me film this video that I'm overwhelmed with this gratitude. So I want to thank you once again. I really did not expect that. And now you help and support our Soviet Myth Debunked project. And I hope many more to come. Thank you once again. And most importantly, thank you for talking to your politicians, neighbors, peoples who doubt, and remembering about the war in Ukraine, that Russia must be stopped. Ukrainian children deported to Russia must return home, and crimes like that must never be repeated in the global normal society without Putin's regime. Slava Ukraini!